The following program is brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization.
Welcome to Mama J Speaks Unlimited. It's a wonderful, wonderful Throwback Thursday for most people that put their old pictures up on Facebook and whatever else. I hope everyone's having a fabulous, fabulous week. Today in studio, you all typically know me to have Mama Kay, my mother, in with me on my evening show, but today I have a special guest. He happens to actually be my brother, Michael Chase.
Hello.
He is a Navy veteran. He's a consistent truck driver. He is the main man to bring you guys gas to the gas stations, and he is definitely a beautiful male that is about his divinity and spirituality and his connection with God.
Yes.
So welcome.
Hello. How you doing?
How you doing?
Not too bad. How you doing?
So I guess we're going to have family therapy today.
Sure. Why not?
So how has life been since you've gotten out of the military?
I've had my struggles. I mean, a lot of stuff happened in the military that does kind of like rattle my mind every now and then when I think about it. But
like what?
Well, my last cruise that I did on my 4-year mission,
yeah,
we lost a pilot. He was doing his normal routine, going vertical and declining and all that, and I guess he got himself at an angle when he was coming down and lost both engines and took a nosedive out in the med and couldn't find the aircraft or the pilot. So, and then on top of that, we had, I don't know, in the military, we have mass casualty drills that it has to deal with a bunch of people getting hurt all at the same time. And, you know, I was sleeping when it actually happened, had an aircraft come and land, and the arresting gear wire snapped.
Oh, wow.
And when the arresting gear wire snapped, it retracted and took out quite a few people and quite a few radars and stuff like that, which, I thought it was another drill when they went and set it over the PA system. And I was like, oh, my goodness, this again? Right. And come to find out it was actual.
Real.
Yeah.
So, well, this is something that you haven't shared before, so this is brand new.
No. Thing about it, you know, it's pretty scary up on the flight deck, you know. That's like the number one worst job you could have.
And you survived.
Well, luckily.
Thank God. Welcome home, bro.
Luckily, because, I almost walked into the prop twice. And,
wow.
At night, you can't see the prop terminal. It's like you and I looking at each other right now, you know, and, working 24/7, you pretty much lose it. Kind of like a space cadet and,
a Navy cadet.
Well, that too. But, I just don't see it. First time I was a few feet away and just get disoriented, working those long hours and stuff like that. And then the second time I was pretty much thrown to the deck. So
So this is some of the stuff that a lot of people don't really know that goes on in the military when you're actually on the job and everything. So you wanted to come on the show today to like share your experiences and some of your trials and tribulations to maybe help touch somebody's life, to help them get through something that they're going through, right?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm so happy. Can you believe it? Him and we used to fight like cats and dogs.
Yeah, I still remember the time you wound up falling asleep on the kitchen floor, and I thought I really hurt you.
Uh-huh. I did that on purpose to make you think you really hurt me.
Well, we're here.
I know. Those were the good old days.
So you say.
I know. Well, Dad didn't really... He provoked us most of the time.
Not necessarily provoking us, but
he didn't stop it.
He pretty much allowed us to fend for ourselves, and at least we didn't like take each other's heads off and stuff like that,
But nearly, because of that's how we were brought up, to just go at it with each other. With my own boys, I don't ever let them go like that with each other. And I encourage them to talk stuff out instead of beating the crap out of each other.
That's kind of funny because with myself and my son, he enjoys it. We get into play fighting and stuff like that. And the girls every now and then too. They enjoy that. But yeah, not lately.
Well, that's good. So what is your biggest element that you've dealt with since coming out of the military, going through that experience? Because you had been married. You had gotten married right before going into the military. And
right after boot camp.
Right after boot camp. And I've noticed, like, in my life experiences, when I was up in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, I met a lot of young soldiers that immediately married, like, as soon as they went into the military.
Well, you get an extra amount of money coming in for living expenses and stuff like that. It's called BAH, and, that's mainly the reasons why military men do get married.
Not before love.
In my case, I actually, I don't know, somewhat, I guess, did care for this person, but when we did get married, it just didn't seem like we were actually married. It felt like we were still dating, So, I mean, it wasn't all there, I guess.
Uh-huh. Well, you were young.
Right. Yeah, I was 19 when I got married.
Yeah.
And very
the
long.
typical age of any military person, it seems like, to go into the military. Hey, we can get an extra $500 a month, man. Let's get hitched.
Exactly. Yep.
Sex was good, so come on, let's do it.
Yeah, here we go. Another episode of sex, huh?
Well, you were on my last show, but you were in the background. You were the voice.
Yes, I was the ghost.
The ghost.
Yes.
Of my past. Spilling all the beans. I'm like, no!
Well, I mean...
But it is what it is. I mean, people need to realize that I didn't just wake up one day and this persona of Momma J, it didn't just happen. It's been a gradual evolving of who I am and who I'm becoming, and the true element of Momma J is because when I was doing a job with a transportation company, there was it was for a DECA convention, and so
a Greek thing.
DECA, it was for students that do business and stuff. It's a high school, college type of deal.
Oh, okay.
One of those organizations in the schools. And so I was recruited to participate with that convention to help keep children and people in line to get on and off their buses, make sure they go to their right hotels and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so and I really, really enjoyed being part of it because I was dealing with bus drivers, and our dad, he was a bus driver.
Right.
So I really felt like really comfortable with it, and I felt like, oh, this could be a career. But at any rate, instead of always introducing myself as Jacqueline to everybody, because they always want to chop it into Jackie, and I just can't stand that.
Right.
I was like, well, I'm a mom. I'm Mama J.
Well, what about Yaya?
Oh, your Greek name for me when we were kids. Yeah, I'm a grandma, whatever. But so that's really where Mama J had stemmed from, because when I introduced myself as Mama J, it was amazing how immediately the kids connected, they smiled, they were willing to listen, and even the grown-ups were immediately willing to connect, smile, and listen to whatever I had to say. And I've just found that introducing myself as Mama J, people just immediately want to open up. I mean, they've always been open with me, even going as Jacqueline and everything, but it's also easier for people to remember. Well, I don't know about that.
I wasn't exactly all that open with you before. But.
I know, because you're my brother, and we've worked through a lot of stuff.
Right.
And, I mean, I've done a lot of prayer to get to the point where, like, you and I, we're like, really good friends now.
Right.
And we're hanging out, and you're, like, I'm really getting to know you as not just my brother, but just as another male in my life that I can connect with, and I really respect you for who you are and what you've become and your spiritual path that you're on. And
I appreciate it. It's been a long journey, but we're getting there.
I know, right? And at least you finally understand my sense of humor.
Yeah. Yes, I do now.
It took you a while, but Dad was the same way before Dad had passed. My relationship with Dad was always tumultuous, because it was really rough growing up with Dad. For you,
he had that sense of humor that was very off the wall.
Off the wall and cutting, like, dude. I'm like, oh. But that's why we all have quick wits and sharp tongues at times.
Well, I don't think I really have a quick wits about me, like you girls do.
No, you poor thing.
But I mean, in a sense too. I mean, growing up, it was kind of difficult because when I did try to express myself, it was pretty much being shooed off, told to be quiet. Go to your room, and it. Believe it or not, affects you when you're a child.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I've gotten to be a very sensitive person when it comes to that kind of stuff, because it's almost like me being the wood on the chopping block, I mean, it doesn't feel good to pretty much have people tell you to shut up, be quiet, I'm not ready for you to talk yet.
Right. Well, that was the whole
It was just
ambiance.
a shutdown.
Yeah. Well, I felt that way too growing up. And I think us being the oldest too. And then when the girls came,
it's completely different.
It was totally different. Because I remember when it was just you and I and like Alex, our family dynamics was overall pretty normal and pretty happy. Like I found some pictures. We were at the beach when we were kids and I was smiling. And then... And then, like,
I'm sure Dad wasn't.
Dad wasn't in the picture, but
he doesn't like sand either.
Yeah,
I didn't.
But then it seemed like once the other two had shown up and everything, it really just shifted everything. I don't know what happened.
Well, I think there was a lot more discipline when it was just you and I, and then when our younger sisters came in, that's when
like, screw it.
Well, not even that, but I mean, Mom used to always get on Dad's case, and Dad was like, okay, you do it then. And that's when everything changed. But I do remember my younger sister right after me, and this is everything built up. but she was talking a lot of smack. And I was like, Alex, you need to stop. She kept on going. You know, my blood started boiling, and, you know, I was always taught not to hit girls, you know, and
So you put a hole in the wall or something?
Well, yeah, I got mad at Angela. Something happened, and I think, she was standing over there by the light switch in your old bedroom, and she had nothing to do with it, and of course it got me a little mad. I guess I had some anger issues.
Yeah.
And I just, right over her head, hit the wall, you know, and I don't think Mom and Dad knew for quite some time.
Yeah, well, was the upbringing how did that affect you in the military and then when you were married and everything?
Well, in the military, it wasn't so bad because I was definitely open. I just spoke my mind. But then when my ex at the time, wife at the time, excuse me, now my ex, she got to the point where, you know, she didn't like the way I was talking to her because there was one time she was actually joking with me, and growing up about what we talked about last time with strip clubs and stuff like that, she was actually joking about that, and I was like, look, Sarah, like, I'm not going to be dealing with that. You know, if you want to act like that, I'll treat you like that. I was like, don't mess with me. And she took it pretty hard, and I think that was one of the main reasons why she was saying that it's too harsh. And
well, you were just being honest about your views more than anything else, I think.
I was, you know, at the same time, I was more vocal. I was more outgoing, I guess, at the time. And then when she said to me that I'm being too harsh, too mean, that's when I like stepped back and, you know, started thinking about what I was going to say before I said it. And then she got mad at me because I was taking too long to speak.
Yeah, a lot of guys go through that.
So, I mean, I pretty much was going through that shutdown process again where, you know, back at home, I was always told to be quiet, shut up, you know. More or less, don't speak unless spoken to.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yeah, so I went through that again, and I pretty much shut down. I really didn't talk. I mean, and I think that was one of the major reasons why we separated. We got a divorce, you know, that and me not being home.
I think there's a lot of men out there that go through that, you know, and that's why, but it's not really spoken of, that it's really comes to the point where a male in a relationship, if the woman isn't open to hearing what a man has to say and always taking it with a filter that they're coming across to be mean and hateful and everything else, because a lot of times, and it goes for both men and women, we project a lot of things from the contents of our mind, and then depending on how we receive it, it can really get muddled up instead of it just being a straightforward, okay, this is where I'm coming from, this is my feelings, bam, it gets all mustard.
Well, right. Well, there was also another time where we were over at a friend's house when I was in the military, and you know, mind you, I was molested at 12, 13, going to a boarding school out in Tampa, Mary Help of Christians. I don't know if you guys...
I remember that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was molested there, and, you know, I had a difficult time. I didn't tell Mom and Dad. I didn't know how to. I was scared. And the principal overheard the few of us this happened to by the same guy.
And then he
heard us talking about it, and he was the one that mentioned it to Mom and Dad.
Right.
And that's when they went and called Mom and Dad in, and I thought I was in a crap load of trouble because they went and called me over the PA system to come down to the office, the main office, you know, where you go and sign a child to even go to the school.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, what did I do? You know, and
I cried.
I did too.
I cried when I found out that happened to you. Because I had gone through that with somebody else and everything. And so I really felt bad.
Right. Well, I mean, I went through it for a reason, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, I had a friend go and tell me that she didn't understand my beliefs and everything else because, you know, I go to church.
Mhm.
And she's like, I don't understand how that could be, you know, even though that happened to you, how could you still go to church?
It's called forgiveness.
Well, forgiveness. And that was the devil using this person, his spirits, to go and try to break me down,
Mhm.
to go and try pulling me down. I mean, yeah, at first it didn't bother me, but after I got out of the military, that's when it really hit me.
Oh, really?
So,
How did you react to that once it really started to hit you about what happened to
Well,
you when you were younger?
that's when I started trying to medicate myself.
Self-medicate?
Yeah, that. But yeah, I was using, you know, drugs and stuff like that, and you know, went from the not so bad stuff to worse.
Right.
And you know, then I stopped, and then after the divorce and deaths in the family, that's when it really hit home.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really wound up pretty bad, and you know, I was doing quite a bit, you know, but I definitely feel that the Lord has pulled me out from where I was to who I am now.
Absolutely.
You know, because I definitely feel I probably could have killed myself. There was also one time when we were over at Angela's house when she was living in St. Pete that Mom and Dad didn't know, but I was on it. You know, I was on coke. You know, and that night I started doing even more, and it just got to the point where I was having a hard time breathing. Felt like my chest was about to jump out of my, or my heart was about to jump out of my chest, not my chest jumping out of my chest. But yeah, it got pretty bad. I was just, I started wondering, you know, am I still going to be around? You know, I mean, it just got to the point where I couldn't breathe. I mean, I was having a hard time falling asleep. And
that kind of happened with me one night when I did Tic Tacs.
Tic Tacs?
Yeah, it's an alcoholic drink with Red Bull. I had like 5 or 6 of them, and with vodka, bad news.
Well, you have an upper and a lower mixing together, and I mean,
yeah,
not good.
Yeah, I that night I nearly thought I was going to die.
Wow. I mean, you know, it got to the point where even Grandma, I guess I was so focused on, you know, being there for you guys after, you know, everybody passed away and everything else that Grandma didn't even see a change in me, you know, that I was up and, you know, taking care of her and doing what I needed to do, even when I was on this. And yeah, it's... We're
having background music.
I don't think they can hear it, though.
Oh, this thing picks up everything. You hear the background music? Just a bit.
But anyways, yeah, it's been an interesting process from the divorce. And,
right.
You know, going through, well, at the same time I went through the separation, that's when Grandpa died.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, that when I came back from Orlando, I was guided to come back because I knew something was going to be happening with our family, and I came back for the healing of our family.
Well, I definitely also felt something was going on too, because I mean, there for a while I wasn't working out, and then all of a sudden I started working out, and you know, and
that
I just
meant
well, it actually did, you know, because I just so happened to be there when Dad's nervous system or whatever shut down, and he couldn't walk, he couldn't get his legs up underneath himself, and pretty much did a deadlift, you know, and got him in the wheelchair. And
so the working out was to help in that scenario.
Exactly. So I definitely feel the Lord was getting me ready for that to happen. You know, I didn't see it then, but I definitely see it now.
Absolutely.
So
There's a lot of stuff that we don't realize it at the time when we're going through it, but there always ends up being a true purpose and a true reason that comes out of it, and it's usually orchestrated divinely,
right,
by God and the universe and everything. I mean, our viewpoints differ slightly, but we both are on a spiritual path, and you're on your own individual spiritual path, and your path is going to lead you to your direct connection, and so is mine, and so is Mom's, and so is everybody else's all over the world, despite what the fundamental religions that try to tell you, oh, you're going to burn in hell if you don't believe this way or that way, and everything else. But ultimately, your spiritual path is a personal journey with yourself and with your divine, which is ultimately the God consciousness, the energy of the entire universe, of which we have all been created from. So, as my brother has been sharing his life experiences and everything, and as you guys are seeing how we're intertwined and how our life experiences have affected us as people, but it has also served to be those learning experiences to make us the type of people that we are today, where we can totally hang out and have some Grateful Dead drinks.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
Like how I did all that?
Yeah. Not so much, but anyways.
At any rate.
Yes.
Did you know Om is a primordial sound of the universe? That's why Mom and I chant Om. This is the symbol for it.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm always teaching him something. Or someone's teaching him something. Or sometimes he's teaching someone something. Just saying.
All right. But yeah, I've been through quite a bit. Just a lot of depression. Not necessarily. I'm sure you've had the same issues. When you need family, when you need people there for you. Nobody's there, and then they wonder why you're not calling. You're not, associating with them, and through that whole process with Dad, I got very upset with Mom, and at the same time, I was upset with Mom because, and I'm not trying to start anything, but
you could be.
Well, I'm just letting you know beforehand that I'm not trying to start anything because obviously you don't want that on air, arguing, fighting, stuff like that.
It's already out there. How y'all doing? Welcome to my interworld.
I just felt like that Mom should have been home with Dad. And yes, I understand that Mom was going to church with you and stuff like that. But at the same time, when Dad was going through these issues, Mom shouldn't have been out there. Mom should have been home with Dad. Mom already knew that Dad would have nervous nervous system issues. And, it's all well and good that you guys going to invite him to go out with you guys. But at the same time, Mom already knew that Dad was having issues walking, having issues, getting around. And I feel that's the main reason Dad was like, no, I'm not going to go because, how you guys are going to be able to go and get him back up on his feet after he falls or can't even stand up on his own. I don't think it would have happened, could have, but it definitely would have been a workout for the both of you,
Well, I understand your your point of view and where you're coming from. However, being that you weren't physically there the entire time to really see what had been transpiring, what had actually been going on, the difficulty that every single one of us had gone through within encouraging him to do what was necessary to make himself better. He had made the conscious decision he did not want to, and despite our efforts to assist him, to help him, it was always a catch-22. So you get to a point where your hands are tied and you are seeing this person making the decision in their life that they want to, they're basically deciding to end their life in a slow process. And you go through the many different elements of grief that starts at the beginning. And so there's denial and anger. And I knew I saw what was going on because I intuitively was getting told what was happening. So the way I was handling the situation was the best way I could. The way Mom was handling the situation was the best way she could. The way Dad was handling himself was the best way he could at that time. Right. And so to, put such a firm judgment on, oh, Mom should have done this. There was a lot of things that should have been done that weren't done. And primarily the responsibility falls on Dad, his responsibility for himself, of taking care of himself when there was that opportunity to do such things. And he did not do that. And so
at the same time,
we can't,
Wasn't he going through a mental state? I mean, just because he's our father and he's given up on himself doesn't necessarily mean we have to give up on him.
I totally agree. And nobody had been given up on him. He was fighting everybody else and he wanted to give up on himself. I was someone that definitely did everything I could because I knew he was depressed. I knew it. And it took me a while to even get him to the point where he was willing to go see somebody. And then that led to something that ended up frustrating him as well. So it wasn't anything that any of us did wrong or right. It was what it was for what the process was, what Dad had chosen. And all we can ultimately do is learn from it, accept it, forgive, release, and love.
Well, I definitely want to ask for your, if I ever did any wrongdoing, that I did go and push you guys aside. And I guess in a sense I was being selfish. And at the same time, I, apologize and just ask you to forgive me.
Of course, bro. I always forgive you. You're my brother. I always love you. I always have known that you were going through what you were going through. I gave you your space. I wanted to reach out to you, but at the same time, I knew you weren't ready for it. And your process had to be your own. But you were never abandoned. Every single one of us were worried about you. Every single one of us wanted to embrace you, but you just weren't ready at the time. And we had to respect that.
In one sense, I feel that, but I mean, when you have a sister that's doing the same crap with you and goes and throws you under the bus, it's just like, whoa.
It feels like a betrayal, and I get that, and I understand that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've told on myself quite a few times, I mean.
You're an honest guy.
Exactly. I mean, I don't need somebody, not necessarily ratting me out, but at the same time, they are. Even though they're doing the same thing and they're trying to keep themselves hidden from having that truth come out on them too. So I mean. And then another issue is when, Mom goes and calls Grandma at 10 o'clock at night when she's sleeping, wakes her up out of a dead sleep saying that, oh, your grandson's doing drugs. You know, I mean, I think it probably would have been a little better off, a little better situation if Mom would have just waited until next morning, you know, instead of freaking Grandma out and, you know, getting her in that state of mind of, you know, is Mikey okay? Is he, you know, all right? Because that night I was gone. But that night,
we were worried about you.
I was already 2 months off the stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of late, you know, I mean, especially for that to being brought up. It wasn't the issue anymore.
Right.
You know, it's just trying to heal myself, and people are really wanting you, Jacqueline.
Oh, goodness. Well, this is always fun. I don't know where the phone's at, so just enjoy the background music yet again. I thought I had turned it down, but oh well. It happens. It's part of the spontaneity of the show. Don't you agree? Okay. All right.
But, yeah, I just want to put that out there, you know, let you know that, you know, I am changed. I'm not the same person I was.
I know. We know this, man.
I just still trying to find myself, you know, I mean.
Absolutely. And everybody is going through that. Everyone. At different times, no matter where they are in their life. And the beautiful, amazing thing is that you never gave up on yourself. Because and I've never given up on myself, even though there have been times in our lives where we're going through the dark night of the soul and we feel like, you know, who cares
Hell's
about
falling
this? Yeah, why should we really continue living this life? And no matter what we've endured in our lives, we have surrendered ourselves to our higher power, to God, to the universe, to that energy that created us. And we have submitted ourselves to that, to just do what is necessary to create us into that image of how we are to be and live our lives.
Right. Well, I definitely agree with that. At the same time, again, this is a healing process, you know, you know, because I haven't asked for forgiveness and stuff like that. And, you know, not only are we to go to God, but we are to also go to the people that we've hurt, you know, to fess up and let them know, hey, you know, I messed up. Forgive me, please. You know, I mean.
Well, I know I've messed up with you at times as well.
Right.
Will you forgive me?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think that's where a lot of people take that for weakness is, you know, when somebody has a big heart and they're willing to give.
And share it.
And share and.
Be vulnerable.
Exactly. I mean, people just.
They
take that as a weakness,
right.
And just bulldoze you over. You know, and that's another area where I've kind of like, in a sense, shut that down too, because I'm just tired of being run over. You know, so steamrolled, whatever you want to call it.
Yes, but you know what? You're very strong and you're very brave because you are. Because for a while now, I've been asking you, come down to the station and see what I do, and da-da-da-da. And you finally showed up last week, and then you partook in a little bit of it, you know.
Right.
And then for you to come to me and say, I want to be on your show. That's like a huge step for us as brother and sister, right. And the healing point for us And it's really huge for you because you're showing the dynamics of a man that is really going through a healing process and owning up to it. And you can serve as a role model for other people as this gets shown all over the world, all the way over to India.
Already.
And you just thought you were going to be on a little
Shindig.
No, I found out that when you Google Momma J Speaks, it's worldwide. Someone in India has confirmed that for me, that I popped up all the way in India. So this is amazing. It's just unveiling.
Fathomable?
It is fathomable. It's the universe is revealing all these wonderful elements, and ladies, he's single.
Wow.
I told him I would find him a good girl.
Well,
He's
I don't
5'10", dark hair, blue eyes.
Here we go.
How do you like dating these days? Doesn't it suck?
Truthfully, I really haven't.
Really?
No, I've just been trying to get my stuff together.
Yeah, well, that's the smart thing to do, actually.
And one of the medications I found out that works for me now, instead of the drinking part, I've replaced it with working out, and it's definitely helped. And
although a drink here and there isn't too bad.
I guess so. I mean, trying to stay away from that
often.
But yeah, I mean, yeah,
once in a while
can happen.
It's just once in a while type of thing. We're both. Well, what's really amazing is that both of us, in our own ways, we've had our addictions, and through the power of our faith and belief in the Holy Spirit is what has been changing us. It hasn't been us going into rehab. It hasn't been us going to AA meetings and this and that.
I do recall you last week saying you went to a couple of AA meetings.
I went to...
I did too.
I went to them to check them out to see if I could do it.
Same here.
And then, did you find yourself kind of like...
Actually, I got the little white token.
Really?
Yeah.
I never got a token. I never even admitted.
Or excuse me, it was a keychain, a little white keychain.
Yeah, I never even admitted. Like, I was literally in one of those, and I just sat there with a solemn look on my face, like paranoid, and just this is awkward. And I didn't say whether it was my last time, my first time, or my in-between time. I was just a body in a chair, just listening and observing. And
well, I actually went with a friend, and they wanted to ask me about that. I'm like, I'm just here supporting my friend.
That's basically what I might have muttered that out. I was just like, yeah, I'm here because she's here. I don't have these issues. It's funny how we're in denial to a certain extent, and then when somebody really like, hey, are you sure? You're like, wait.
Actually, I did have one a different time at an AA meeting where, they're like, well, if you didn't have issues, you wouldn't be here. I'm like, true, but I don't have issues like you guys, though. I mean, yeah, I guess in a sense, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I mean, I guess being in the military kind of like throws at you too.
Oh yeah, especially substantially and everything. A lot of soldiers, a lot of people turn to that.
Oh yeah,
and everything. So, but at any rate, I think we going to be wrapping up here and
All right.
and everything. But I wanted everybody to know, just as a side note, to go to thefashionhero.com and sign up, because I want to support everyone's dreams of whatever they want to become. And when you sign up, use the profile, and then when they ask you who recommended you, you put Mama J. I'm on there. But I wanted to thank my brother, Michael Chase,
Thank you.
for coming on the show, being a guest, and
Thank you for having me.
really sharing and opening up, and hopefully this will touch some other people in their lives with what they've experienced by being with us today. So many blessings. I love you, bro.
Love you too.
All right. And everybody, you have a beautiful day, and come back from 7 to 8 today, as Mama K will be returning. Have a great day. See you later.
This program was brought to you by the Internet Broadcasting Organization, setting the standard for new media broadcasting.